Hey, what's up, classic TV fans? My name is Rick9G. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about The Lucy Show, more specifically about an episode of The Lucy Show with a pretty amazing blooper, one that you'll absolutely miss if you don't look closely. Before I get into it, I do want to let you know that I'm giving away The Lucy Show third season DVD set. It contains all the episodes of the third season, which are completely in color. That's how they came out originally. 26 episodes, and it's just my way of saying thank you. It's absolutely free to the winner of the giveaway. It's my way of promoting my channel and just giving something back to all of you who support me. Now, the episode that I'll be talking about in quite a bit of detail doesn't come from season 3. It comes from season 1. It's episode 25, and it's called Lucy Visits the White House. Now, if you haven't seen The Lucy Show, there are really good episodes in it. Yes, there's no Fred. Yes, there's no Ricky. But there's a lot of good talent on the show. The stories are fairly well written by the same people, most of the same people who wrote I Love Lucy. So there is a bit of good quality material there. Now, in this episode, Lucy and Vivian's two sons, they have a Boy Scout club. And they make a replica of the White House out of what? Well, sugar cubes. Kind of ridiculous, I know, but there it is. And now the president of the United States at the time, John F. Kennedy, is so impressed that he invites all of them to the real White House to unveil it. Now they get on a train, which is really cool. It's reminiscent of the great train robbery episode of I Love Lucy. Some shenanigans ensue there. I may get into it in just a little bit more detail, but I want to get back into the beginning scene of the show, where we see all the Cub Scouts or all the Boy Scout Club members. You see Lucy, you see Viv, and then you see a little boy, which may be familiar to some of you. Well, that's the real son of Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. You could say it's Little Ricky, not really Little Ricky, it's actually Desi Arnaz Jr., or Desi Arnaz the fourth, to be precise. After they get on the train and they take the White House made out of sugar cubes, they have to stop at a little known town, I believe it's Greenville, and they go into this little cafeteria, this little deli, and the man at the counter, his name is Alan Reed. That's the actor's name. That's actually the man who played the voice and did the voice of Fred Flintstone on The Flintstones. Take a listen.
I'm sorry, lady. I'm not in the grocery business.
Now, after we see the opening scene, as I mentioned, it's a great little scene at the train set. The train set they made, the interior of the train is pretty cool. They have the White House little mock-up there, and passengers are going back and forth. We have kind of a special appearance by Frank Nelson, who makes about 7 or 8 appearances on I Love Lucy as, yes, the train conductor. He is wonderful, and I'm glad that Lucy was able to bring him in to this episode. It is wonderful. Now, when they stop at that little town in Greenville, that's where the blooper is that I'm talking about. But before I get to it, I want to finish telling you the rest of the episode and what happens, because I know that a lot of people haven't seen it. And now when they get into the cafeteria scene, it's pretty nice, or the cafe, the deli, whatever you want to call it. Lucy is trying to find sugar cubes. Why? Because the little White House was destroyed. They put it in pretty much a walkway where all the passengers stepped on it. It was a mess. So they're trying to recreate it before they get to the White House. It is such a preposterous story, let me tell you. And so Lucy's trying to find as much sugar as possible. She basically raids and steals from the deli, which is pretty funny. She even gets back on the horse when she misses the train, and you can see her outside the window talking to Vivian, saying where the next stop is and so forth. It's just chaotic. I don't know how to explain it. It's entertaining on its own. What I do notice though are that the laughs, which are real in the background, it's not a laugh track, it's not as funny, and they don't laugh as much as, let's say, I Love Lucy. There's something off on the dynamic, but all in all, it's a fairly good episode where they finally stop at the White House, and Lucy sits in one of the chairs. I believe it's Abraham Lincoln's son's chair, Tad's chair. That's what they call it. And she sits in it, and she gets stuck, and then she has to meet the president, and then she's embarrassed. Now, it's a mixture of many I Love Lucy episodes. It's a mixture of when Lucy meets the Queen, where here she meets the president, where she gets her bum stuck in that chair. It's very reminiscent to the John Wayne episode. And there's just so many allusions back to I Love Lucy. So if you're a fan of I Love Lucy, I would suggest watching these. Now, where is that blooper? I will tell you, it's in the Greenville, or in the outside set. In the outside set of the cafeteria, where we see something that we're not really supposed to see. Now, what happens is you see the man who basically headed up the counter scene, Alan Reed, Fred Flintstone voice man. He is outside and he's kind of wrestling with Lucy because he finds out that she is stealing all the sugar. There's a horse there, there's two other men there, and then Lucy runs, or she goes from the right side of the screen to the left side of the screen. Essentially, she goes to the edge of the set, or where the camera was supposed to go. Unfortunately, this being a 3-camera system setup where they planned a lot of the camera shots out, they made a mistake and they went to the wrong camera. They pulled too much to the left. And as you can see basically an edge, or like a fencing, and then 2 men off to the side that are looking at the action that's happening. Essentially, they were seeing Lucy act behind the scenes and they were caught on camera. That's unfortunate. It is a fairly big blooper that I don't know how many of you saw when you took a look at this episode, but what's really interesting is that they keep wrestling and the camera kind of quickly pans the other way, like they notice, uh-oh, that wasn't supposed to come on screen. And then finally, when we go back to that side of the facade of the set, those 2 men are gone. And that is your telltale sign that there's something wrong there. If they're waiting for the train or something, it would have been another instance, but they're actually looking at Lucy, so that's what tips it off. Let me know what you think of this episode if you have seen it yourself, and what do you think overall of the Lucy show compared to I Love Lucy? Maybe some of you will start watching it, or maybe you don't like it, or maybe you love it. I'd love to hear it down in the comments below. How do you win the DVD set? It's very simple. Don't forget, you have to be a subscriber to be eligible for the giveaway. So if you haven't done it yet, hit the subscribe button, not just for the giveaway, but understand that a channel like mine cannot grow without you being a subscriber. So many of you watch and haven't hit the subscribe button. Now's your chance to do it. It does really help out, and I thank you ahead of time. Also, to be eligible, hit the thumbs up button, and thirdly, leave a comment down below, any comment that you like, and make sure you include Lucy Blooper in the comment. As long as you include that, you are eligible. And finally, in the description of this video, there's a link that will take you to where you can just include basic information so that when I choose the winner, I can contact you and send the DVD straight to you free of charge. Thank you so much for the support. We'll see you next time, and don't forget, everyone, be hopeful. Thank you to everyone for the support, especially my Diamond tier patrons: Citizen Kane 359, David D, Greg S, Kevin K, Ricky, Sally N, Ulysses the P, and Vito L. If you want to join the Patreon family, links are in the description. Thank you.